Said it before, say it again. They don't ask how, they ask how many. Bombers eke out a win, 17-16 against a resting Saskatchewan Roughriders team. Welcome inside to Game Day After Dark. This is your live Bombers post-game show here on Bonfire Sports. Let's bring in our post-game friend, Schnitzy, Zach Schnitzer, fresh off, I'm sure you had some fun at Princess Auto Stadium tonight. Your initial thoughts on the Bombers, whose offense kind of disappeared in the second half, but did enough to hang on and keep their playoff hopes alive. Not that a win needed them to keep their playoff hopes alive. We're watching closely this Elks BC Lions game that will have a determining factor on a lot of things. But what did you see from the blue and gold tonight?
Nothing. Dude, I'm wearing this gray hat because instead of the black hat because I've never felt more gray after a win that arguably gets the Bombers into the playoffs. My goodness, that was the Riders' B squad. The Bombers,
a lot of them,
barely win that game. Zach Collaros in that second half, Darrin, and this was the most concerning part. And of course, I'm happy with the win, sort of. I'm wearing the chain. But Darrin, Zach Collaros' body language in that whole second half, I'm talking even before he got absolutely clobbered in that sack. He looked listless. He was pissed off at Kevin Sklercius when he short hopped a ball when they were backed up on their own 2-yard line. But after that, he looked listless, man. He looked defeated. His head was hanging. Chris Streveler on the sideline was trying to pump him up, was almost rubbing his back in consolation. Something is up with Zach Collaros. I don't know if he was sick of the play calling, if he was injured. I've been defending Jason Hogan for weeks there, and I don't know what they were doing.
Maybe he couldn't breathe. Maybe he couldn't breathe. Quarterback is the hardest position to play in pro sports.
Yeah.
And when the other team is sending 4 guys against your 5-0 linemen and the pocket's falling apart, saw that a lot tonight. And he was just getting pushed around. He was getting hit to the ground. He was getting hit. He wasn't able to operate the offense. Like I tweeted towards the, kind of middle of the fourth quarter, maybe the beginning of the fourth quarter. If you want to criticize Zach Collaros, that's fine. I think he deserves criticism for his level of play. But if you're going to criticize Zach Collaros, you better criticize as much, maybe even more so, the play of the offensive line. People have been talking about, like you just mentioned, offensive coordinator Jason Hogan. And forgive me out there for those of you out there that are hearing my voice sound like I've got, a big gob of something in the, in my chest and my throat. I do. Struggling right now with COVID-25, I'm pretty sure. But I digress. A lot of criticism and conversation around the play calling. I think fans need to understand that, it's 2nd and 4 and he throws it 50 yards. Well, that's a bad play call. Okay, listen. Do you understand that when it's 2nd and 4 and the other team starts bringing heat, Zach Collaros has nothing else to do but throw to his receiver deep downfield? Because if you throw it anywhere else, there's going to be a lot of players in that vicinity. And yeah, he's underthrowing, and yeah, he's overthrowing, and yeah, he's not accurate, but, thrown off the back foot, all that stuff. But please realize, all of you out there, please understand that sometimes when it's 2nd and 4 and he's throwing it 50 yards, it's because he has no other options and he has to get rid of the football. It's either that or he throws it out of bounds. Did he do crummy things outside of those situations? Yes. Today he was, he started the game quite well, but when the pressure built up and he started getting knocked around and, you can maybe read into it as far as, his body language or read into it with the type of punishment his body from head to toe, you know what I'm saying, has taken through his entire CFL career. maybe the knife isn't as sharp as it used to be once those things start happening. So criticize Zach Collaros, criticize the offensive line, and maybe don't immediately jump to, well, Collaros is my guy, and I know this offensive line has been good for half a decade, so I'm blaming the new guy. I'm blaming the offensive coordinator. Just maybe
Yeah.
think twice and three times before you do so.
Well, here's where I look at Hogan though, Darrin. When your offensive line is struggling, and they've struggled in all 3 games against the Riders D line. Okay, and you put our friend Michael Remus's comment up there, Darrin, and I think that's perfect because I was just going to reference our buddy Remo, who texted me in the 4th quarter. Brady has only touched the ball twice.
Yeah.
So, and I actually hadn't even noticed. I noticed that he hadn't touched it much, but twice. Okay. So when your offensive line is struggling against the D line, even without Micah Johnson and Ray, okay, they're still a fearsome defensive line. They had their starting linebackers as well. Did the Riders? You have no Nick Dembski, who's your top receiver, no Dalton Schoen, who's your other top receiver, right? You even had Tui Ellie, the offensive lineman, going downfield on a corner route.
That was
Darrin.
That was a free play, broken play. They're
Yeah.
just like, why not?
My point is, even if the Riders stacked the box, Brady was getting between 2 and 3 yards a carry, even when he was going up the gut. And you give him 2 carries and a half when Zach didn't look like himself, man. And then you finally go to Collaros. You finally go to Brady in the 4th quarter on that last drive. And what does Brady do on his first carry? He gets him 16 yards. And Remo was like, he texted me, it's almost like if you go to Brady, you get first downs, right?
Well, I can tell you the Riders weren't expecting Brady at that point because they had gone away from him so much. Like, just playing devil's advocate, purely devil's advocate. I'm not saying this is what I believe, that sort of thing, or that like I'm defending, but defending the play calling. But sometimes when an offense is struggling to get anything going, like I guess what I'm trying to say, and again, forgive me, I have been in la la land as far as medication and how my physical wellness is right now. Excuse me. So I'm a little spacey between the ears, I'll be honest. But the point I'm trying to make, and thank you for your patience, Schnitzy, and everyone out there. Great to see everyone on the live chat. Is when I can understand why they would go away from Brady, because everybody is in the box. Everybody is near the line of scrimmage. They're bringing that pressure. Maybe they should have gone to Brady more. Again, there's reasons why offensive coordinators, rightfully or wrongfully, make the decisions they make, and there could be some logic in all of that. Yeah, me and Paulie,
sure.
it's the same spot. What's up, buddy?
For sure, man, and it's nuanced, right? Like maybe some guys on the O line were injured. Who knows? I mean, the Bombers were backed up on their own goal line a couple times, but to go away from arguably your best player, and this isn't the first time it's happened, Darrin, that that they've gone away from Brady at key times. I also want to go to 2nd and goal, and then I want to talk about the beginning of this game, okay? And then we'll go on with the other parts of the show as we always do. Second and goal, Bombers in the, I believe it was the 1st quarter. Let me just look at my notes. First quarter, end of the 1st quarter. There's that 28-yard pop pass to Stearns, which gets them to the 1-yard line, but then they're moved back on a procedure penalty. Okay, at this point in the season, Kendall Randolph can't be taking procedure penalties in the biggest game of the year. Okay, I would argue if the Bombers are tied They were down 10-7. If you go up 14-10 on that Riders team that had like 48 yards of offense at half, the game's over. And they take a procedure penalty. And this wasn't the only egregious penalty they took
Oh,
tonight.
shit
They
happens.
took a
Brady Oliveira
few.
had an awful offensive offside penalty when he lined
Brady
up to wide
cannot
receiver.
go
Like that blew
offside.
a huge play.
Yeah, that blew the huge play, I believe, to Stearns, which was a catch down the middle, down the seams, Darren. So they're taking these dumbass penalties. Then they're 2nd and 4, and just like they did in Labor Day, Darren, against the same Riders, against this D line and these linebackers who are by far the best front against the run. They put in Chris Streveler, take the ball out of Zach Schneitzer's hands, take the ball out of Brady's hands, and Streveler runs the same zone read that he did in Labor Day and several times this year in the red zone. Every single time he gets blown up. The Riders had 3 guys on him before he could even take a step. They knew exactly what he was going to do. Then they settled for a field goal. And John Hodge, to his credit, talked about this in his column, Darren. You're 3rd and 4, 3rd and goal from the 4-yard line. You have the Riders backups playing. They clearly can't move the ball. They had a couple plays all game. Shout out to Mitch Picton, who made an unreal catch over Jamal Parker in the
He had a
4th
great
quarter.
game.
30-yard catch. That was incredible. But other than that, man, they couldn't move the ball to save their life. Okay? You don't go for it? Worst case scenario, Jake Maier, who's a backup for a reason, you're asking him to go 106 yards to score. And then when it's 3rd and 2 at the end of the half, Darren, and they maybe shouldn't have gone for it, they put Streveler in and he gets stuffed badly for a gains a yard when he needed 2, and the Riders go down and take the lead on a field goal. You could either trot out Sergio Castillo for a 50 or 54-yarder, Darren, with the wind at his back, right? Maybe you hand it off to Brady. I don't know. But I don't know what Mike O'Shea's doing there. And I'm someone, Darren, who rarely questions Mike O'Shea. But something's been off with him all year. He seems a little bit listless. The team was listless. They took dumb penalties. Stearns dropped a ball he needed to catch. Wheatfall dropped a ball. Ontario Wilson dropped a ball, although that was right off a stinger where he was knocked out of the game for a bit. But let me just cap this little rant off, Darren. And I appreciate you letting me rant here while you show some of the stats. This game started in the worst possible way you could imagine. If you want a playbook on how you let a backup B squad team on the road win a game, the Bombers checked off every single box. Trey Vavel, who's been a revelation this year, fumbles the ball on the very first return of the game. Okay? Then, and credit Mark Mueller, who's the offensive coordinator for the Riders, on the road with their backup, Jake Maier, their first offensive play is a flea flicker. I mean, that's great, actually. I enjoyed that because nobody expected it. But DeMario Houston, I mean, yes, he's beaten on the play, and most DBs would be on a flea flicker because you're not expecting it from the backup quarterback, Darren. Okay? He's beaten on it. It is a duck, man. Maier threw an absolute duck on that play. Houston had time to turn around and make a play on the ball. Yeah, waiters, I hate them. Okay? He just basically barrels into the receiver. It's a terrible PI. So right there, the Bombers gift the Riders a touchdown. Right there. Okay? Then to their credit, they come back. Big drive for a touchdown. Wilson wide open on the corner route. Mixing in Gavin Cobb right there. I mean, he had 44 yards tonight, Darren. He probably had a better game than than Dylan Mitchell all year. Okay, they get the touchdown, and you're thinking, okay, you know what? They crapped on themselves coming out of the gate. Big pressure situation, biggest game of the year at home. They got to win this one, Darren. Fine, we'll give them that 7 spot to the Riders, but then they come back, they get a touchdown. Defense is going to lock it down. But then the special teams, which is the number one unit in the league, Darren, and granted, Saskatchewan has the best kick return yardage average in the league. They allow a 68-yard Mario Alford kickoff return, which basically gifts the Riders 3 points. So right there, the special teams and defenses gifted the Riders 10 points. They only scored 16. So, and then the other field goal in the first half the Riders got to get to 13 was off a turnover on downs by Strevler. And then there's a blindside block on the return by Jalen Smith. Stearns drops the ball. Brady like, when have you seen Brady Oliveira offside? Well, he saves it for today. And then the turnover on downs, right? And it's just like, and then the beginning of the third quarter, the Riders fumble the ball. Jake Mayer seems to mishandle it, and they still can't get into the end zone. Zach is sacked on 2nd and 3. Like, you have Brady Oliveira. Like, I know it's not this simple, Darren, and I'll stop talking after this, man. Although you probably don't want to get a word in because you can barely speak. But you're 2nd and 3 in the red zone against the Riders, against some of their backups on D. They had more backups on offense than on D. You're 2nd and 3. You have the best, arguably one of, if not the best player in the league in Brady Oliveira. And Zach drops back to pass against a D line that has owned this Bombers team all year, and he gets sacked. Field goal. Right? Like, it's just stupid play, lack of execution. Zach looks listless. The offense was atrocious, Darren. They almost lost the Bombers the game. It just leaves me speechless, which is a hard thing to do. The most important game in the year, the Bombers come up with this stinker.
Yep.
It's inexcusable, really. And I sure hope Mike O'Shea saved his rah-rah speech for halftime today, because if there was a time for him to rip his players, it was today, because they did not come out looking like they had a playoff spot on the line, Darren.
I really like this comment from Are You Ready? This O-line is absolute garbage. Claris has no trust in it. He has no ability to make reads. Don't sleep on the fact that a quarterback's play is very, very directly correlated to the play of the offensive line. Scotty T, we did not miss your super chat. I was just waiting for Schnitzy to let it all out, baby. Let it all out. It was a win tonight, but probably doesn't.
Thank you,
It
Scotty
feels
T.
more like a loss, right? Scotty T says, I don't know who to be mad at more. Mace pulling Meyer in Winnipeg side of play, or John Schneider putting Brandon Little in to give up a grand
Yeah,
slam. FFS. That's for you know what's sake. Yeah. Jeffrey Bannon, our good friend from the 1930 crew.
Jeffrey
What's up, Jeff?
Van.
Happy belated birthday, brother. Mentioning tough night to be a fan of a team with blue in the name. Look, where's the sentiment of confidence in this football club right now? It's in the crapper. It's in the absolute crapper. Milt Stiegel said it. A lot of people have said it. There's no urgency from the Bombers. I thought the Riders playing, like resting a lot of guys, resting Roland Milligan and Micah Johnson, and obviously Trevor Harris, and for my money, maybe the best receiver in the CFL, and Keyshawn Johnson.
Yeah.
And many others. They came out and they're like, we're going to try to win. And they didn't look like the regular 1A Saskatchewan Roughriders that won the West Division, that have the best record in the CFL in 2025, that are probably the odds-on favorite to win the Grey Cup, definitely to represent the West. I put Montreal right there with them. They're on the uptick. But I digress from that. Winnipeg played to the level of their opponent. They had their hands full. And you know what? I'll almost walk that back. When you say play to the level of the opponent, that puts too much. It almost gives the opponent more credit, if that makes sense. Uh, Winnipeg got beat, but still came away with the win because they weren't playing the 1A Saskatchewan Roughriders. They were fortunate to get this win. You know, it says everything when Luke Wilson, it doesn't even matter who it is, gives the game ball to the fans. Like, big ups to the fans. 13 straight sellouts. Very close to making it 14 straight with, the Bombers playing the Alouettes at home next week. Don't miss pregame and postgame right here on Bonfire Sports for that, of course. But when you give the game ball to the fans, it's because nobody, even in the realm of deserving it, says everything about it. Before we get into Walby's Warrior, Westwood Wide to the Right, and all of our other full game features, do want to send a big thanks to our friends at the Silver Heights Restaurant. Legendary ribs and steaks right here in Winnipeg. Hit the Heights in sunny St. James. The Silver Heights Restaurant and Lounge. You can see all these daily specials they got going up. They serve up your favorites, seafood, hearty Canadian classics, and like the vibe there is just awesome. Family run institution. They are Winnipeg's original sports bar since 1957. Dine in, takeout, delivery, free parking, awesome beer selection, awesome liquor selection, wine as well. You can watch the Jets, the Bombers, NFL, and more on their monster screen as you, Schnitzy, and many others were doing at the Heights last week for the Bombers road game in Edmonton. Multiple TVs, that monster screen, open late, Silver Heights Restaurant and Lounge, 2169 Portage Avenue. There's JC, there's Tony, there's Grandpa Sawicki when they launched this place in 1957. You'll find them just west of Assiniboine Park, 2169 Portage. Order, book online, and find more, SilverHeightsRestaurant.ca. SilverHeightsRestaurant.ca. You tell them the Bonfire Boys sent you. Tradition tastes great. Big ups to our friends at the Silver Heights Restaurant.
Darren, people in the chat are skewering me for saying I was saying I was speechless while I delivered a long soliloquy. So shout out to the chat. You got me there. Touche. I am I don't think I've ever been speechless in my life. Oh, look at Jeffrey Townend.
Well,
Townend,
you
not
didn't let me
Townsend.
do it. I wanted to pronounce his name correctly
Oh, buddy.
because I've been calling him Jeffrey
Sorry.
Townsend for 2 years. Jeffrey Townend 597 says Darren butchers Meyer's name worse than he does mine. Mayer. It's kind of like everyone says Zach Caleros.
Right.
Caleris?
Yes.
Caleros? Meyer?
It's Mayor. You told me it was Mayor.
Yeah.
I called him Meyer.
Was I saying Mayer or Meyer?
I thought he might be, because, as I always do, being Jewish, you always hope that a pro athlete's Jewish. So,
yeah.
Myers,
they didn't turn up the sound for the play-by-play?
kind of Jewish. What's that? They did a little bit, but I'm sure if we bring in 50 people, they'll do whatever we want.
100%. And Jets games, like you'll hear Dan and Kevin on the call.
Oh yeah,
great spot to check out the game at Silver Heights Restaurant. Monday Night Football, Thursday Night Football.
Dude.
Yeah, open Monday to Saturday.
I saved a third of my ribs to enjoy later. Okay, from Silver Heights. I put them in the box, and I wrote on the box, Zach's Don't Touch.
You did not write Zach's Don't Touch.
Yes, I did, because they were delicious. But I was too full, and we had to do our show, right?
You have a house full of hungry mouths.
It was gone by the time I woke up. Like, I'm allowed to sleep in after our game nights, buddy, which is lovely of my wife. I wake up and it's freaking gone. It's gone.
They're that good, though. That's the whole thing. They're that good. The ribs at the Height, like they're the best ribs in Winnipeg. Bar none.
My wife ate them for breakfast. They were so good.
Yeah,
And
ribs and eggs,
she
baby.
didn't even look guilty or like, "Oh, you got me, honey,
Divorce
sorry." She's
worthy
just like,
for
"Yeah,
the Silver Heights
no,
ribs,
no."
maybe.
I I wasn't even mad at her, Darren, because I was like, "Yeah, I don't blame you." Like,
I'm
I would
mad,
have
but I'm
eaten
not
those
even
for
mad.
dessert too. And
I'm not even mad. I'm impressed.
my dog was just like, because she sniffed them, right? She loved those ribs. Can I just defend Brady Oliveira for a second,
Real
Darren?
quick,
Oh
thanks
my
Tico
God, look at
Napoli,
this!
$20
Wow.
super chat. LOL, I've been spelling it Townsend for 2 years, replying to his crappy takes. LOL, sorry, Jeffrey.
We love Jeffrey Townend. Come on.
Yeah, big
Oh,
Stamps
BC
fan.
just tied
Big
it up
Stamps fan.
10-10, baby.
Yeah.
10-10. Yeah, baby. Okay. Thank you, T Kona. Or should I say, thank you, T Kona Polly?
All caps. Okay,
Next
quickly
one.
defend Brady Oliveira, and then we'll get into Walby's
Yeah.
Warrior, Westwood Wide
Okay.
to the right, and the rest, and then I got to go to bed because I got to cover the
Yeah.
Nashville Predators in the morning.
Yeah. Hate the Predators. Okay, where's my notes on Brady Oliveira here? Okay, over the last 5 starts, folks, Brady Oliveira has 514 yards, excluding today. That's 6.3 yards per carry. That is ridiculous. Over 100 yards per game. Over the season, Brady Oliveira, not Justin Rankin, not James Butler, okay? Brady Oliveira has 5.9 yards per carry, which is best in the CFL. Okay? Brady Oliveira is arguably the best back in the CFL. Does he have the home run speed of Justin Rankin? No. But as an every down back, he is elite.
He's a
He is he,
bruiser.
he is Winnipeg's third leading receiver. So he's good out of the backfield. And here's the other thing, folks. You look at AJ Ouellette and how good he's been this year. Well, you look at his O-line. Do you want to know who the best run blocking offensive linemen are in the CFL? Well, number 1 is Jamarcus Hardrick. Number 2 is their center, Furland. Okay? Do you want to know how far down the list, if you look at the Pro Football Focus run blocking grades of offensive linemen, the Bombers players are, whether they be center, tackle, or guard? You have to look pretty far down, man. Like, Brady is doing what he is doing despite the offensive line or in spite of them. Okay? If he had an elite offensive line, this guy would be the MOP again. He was seething after the game last week.
This week. This week too.
No, in Edmonton, this week too.
Yeah.
This guy is pissed. And I don't want to see the Bombers waste away one of potentially a Hall of Famer's prime. This guy should have won the MOP over, I don't know what you think of this, Darren, but a couple of years ago over Chad Kelly. I mean,
He
this
should
guy
have
could
won
have
it 2 years
easily
in a
been,
row. Yeah.
he should have won it 2 years in a row. He's a hometown guy from Oak Park. He's also just a gem of a human being, rescues hundreds of dogs a year. Like, you don't get much better off the field or on the field. And he's playing behind a middling O-line at best.
But
And
look,
he's getting it done, man.
Look, this is 1 year of the decline of the Blue Bombers offense. Let's not pretend like this is something that they have abandoned. They went into this year thinking this O-line was going to be good enough, and it's not. No doubt there's going to be changes. People were mentioning that in the live chat. You know, training camp next year is going to look very different, as it should. That said, I mean, this season isn't over. Winnipeg could go on a run. It kind of gets more unlikely as the games go by. You know, like they put the boots to the Ticats, then they lose to Edmonton, then they squeak out a win against the 1A, 1B squad, kind of the 1B squad against the Saskatchewan Roughriders. The urgency isn't there. That passion, drive isn't there. The frustration starting to eke through. I think all that kind of tells the tale. But they are going to have their hands full with a very motivated Montreal Alouettes team that needs to win this week and next week. But next week here in Winnipeg, their hands are going to be full. But you know, I just to put some context on your point. What are you going to do mid-season? You can't rebuild an O-line mid-season. So, they better do it next year. They better.
Yep.
Yeah. Listen to me change my tune on the O-line. Wow. Backcountry. Listen, I've been saying it for 2 months right now. The Blue Bombers offensive line is not that dominant line people are used to. It's okay. It's good. You're going up against the number 1 ranked defense in pretty much every category, and they beat the crap out of them. So they're going to look like shit. And they looked like shit, and they played like shit. No doubt. They're rushing 5-0 linemen, pockets collapsing. Kolaris getting pushed around, beat up. I don't know what you mean by that I've changed my tune on the O-line. They're not that same dominant unit. I've been saying that for months. I said it right off the top of the show. If you're going to criticize Zach Kolaris and the OC, you better criticize that offensive line just as much, if not more. And yep, I said poop. I said it twice. Schnitzy, real quick, look, Walby's Warrior, Westwood Ride to the right. We'll get to those. I put in my ballot for the or for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers MO awards, player, Canadian, rookie, etc. I'm going to shoot them at you. You give me your real quick 1A, 1B, because you get, this is how the ballot works. You get first choice, second choice, and that second choice kind of goes to tiebreak and that sort of thing. There's 5 voters in Winnipeg. 1 is Mike O'Shea, 4 members of the media, Paul Friesen, Taylor Allen, myself, Derek Taylor. And let's start with most outstanding special teams player. 1A and 1B. Who do you got?
Special teams for me, buddy, is Vavel, hands down.
Yep.
B, that I suppose it might be 𝘎𝙤𝙤𝙧𝙬𝙧, who's the returner for Hamilton, who has 3 returns.
Oh, no, sorry, just Winnipeg.
Oh, just Winnipeg. Yep. Oh, I thought you meant league. I would have to say it would be Vavel, and I guess the easy one is Castillo. I mean, hits the
there's Ayers and there's some other guys, but
I mean, yeah, I'd have to break down the All-24 film and see what the cover teams do, right, and all those unsung heroes, because I'm sure there's some great ones. I know Kelly was in the CFL honor roll 1 week for his work on special, or actually 1 month for his work on special teams.
Yeah,
opening up lanes for Babel and stuff. But you got to give it to Babel.
Who do you got for most outstanding rookie?
Babel.
Runaway.
Yeah.
Agreed with you there. Most outstanding defensive player.
I think the easy one here is Tony Jones. He gets 6 defensive tackles tonight, Darrin, and he now has 100, which is a nice number. I believe he's only the 7th Blue Bomber in franchise history to have 100 tackles in a season, joining the likes of guys like Baron Simpson, right? Some of the elite linebackers from the 80s. I think it was Tyrone Jones, another T Jones, right? So I think Tyrone Jones has been right up there, and if I had to give a 1B, that's tough. I think Evan Holm is having one of the best seasons that he's had, leads the team in interceptions, but countless knockdowns and just elite level play at the DB spot. So I'd give it to him, or maybe Cramdy, who's also been very, very good. Woodby was incredible tonight, actually, I thought. But
what about Dietrich or Evan Holm?
Well, Dietrich made an incredible knockdown today. You were probably passed out on the couch, but he reaches out one hand. He doesn't get it with one hand because the guy pulls the ball away. And as he's falling to the ground, he reaches with his left hand and just tips it away. It was a big second down knockdown by Dietrich Nichols in a 1-point game. That kept Saskatchewan out of field goal range. Dietrich's been amazing as well. I mean, those are arguably, the top halfback tandem in the league. So, yeah. But if I had to give it to one player, I think it would be Tony Jones.
Who do you got for, this is a tough one, most outstanding offensive lineman?
Most outstanding
Now,
offensive
don't go on a
lineman. Well,
10-minute diatribe here.
okay. If I had to give, okay, let me now. Right now, I'm pulling up my Pro Football Focus stats. I don't use them
Schnitzy,
for everything, Darren.
Schnitzy,
Hold on,
Schnitzy.
hold
Who's
on.
Winnipeg's most outstanding offensive lineman? Who's the guy?
If I had to do it just based on grades, because I'm not smart enough to
It's
really
it's,
look at
it's the hardest
offensive
one to
line.
pick every year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the bomber with the highest grade, Darren, is Pat Neufeld. Now he had a terrible penalty today in the red zone, but Pat Neufeld is the fourth highest graded guard in the CFL,
Mhm.
68.5. He's especially good at run blocking, also top five, right? So I would give it to Neufeld. You could argue Bryant. He's having a decent year. He's not as dominant as he used to be. Gabe
This is a
Wallace has had some good
fascinating.
spots.
Sorry to interrupt. I
That's
apologize.
okay.
Fascinating comment from Ms. D, who says, "There's no secret. Winnipeg's O line isn't great. Collaros isn't confident, rightfully so. He's hurt too. Sit him down. Sit him down, and then what? And then what? Just hope Chris Strebler can help you win in the playoffs? Like, sit him down for what?
Yeah, there's nobody on the Bombers who's going to outplay Zach Collaros. And I know that's not saying much after performances last tonight and last week, Darren. But let me just finish with the O line. Do you know which guard in the CFL has the best
I
pass
told you not to go
blocking
on a
grade?
10-minute diatribe. Which guard has the
Gabe
highest rating?
Wallace. Gabe Wallace has the highest pass blocking grade in the CFL. Nobody talks about this.
Well, he's only played half the season.
I filtered it for like at least 400
Yeah.
snaps. That's pretty good. Anyway, I won't go on
Who
a
is your
diet.
most outstanding Canadian?
Nick Dembski. Nick Dembski
And
has been a top 5 receiver in the CFL. He's arguably in the top 3, Darren.
I worry that his season is done because a hamstring could be like a
Yeah.
month, and we're a month away from the Grey Cup today.
Well, look at what happened with Davis Alexander. He was out for like 2 months with a hammy.
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
Well, he was
it's
out
not
for
good.
3 or 4 weeks, and then he came back, and then he got hurt
Yeah.
again. So, like, maybe Dembski's possible to come back for a West final for the Grey Cup, but that's going to be tough. Who's your most
Yep.
outstanding player?
Brady.
So Nick Dembski is your most outstanding Canadian, and Brady is your
Oh
most
yeah.
outstanding player.
Yeah, because I want to spread the love, buddy.
Oh
I don't know
man,
if that's how it works. I mean,
yeah.
if it was Dembski or Brady, I
Phyllis
guess
says
I
it.
would
Yeah.
actually. I would probably lean Dembski, and just because his consistency. I mean, 4 years. What is it? 3 years in a row, 1,000 yards. He's a Canadian. He's a top 3 receiver in the league. Schoen goes down. He's forced to be the number 1 receiver. Mike O'Shea this week called him the best athlete on the team.
Best football player, I think he said, right?
Well, I think he said athlete, but it might have been football player, man. Like Dembski is unbelievable.
That's pretty funny,
So
Jeffrey. The original, the OG Machine Gun Kelly did die decades and decades ago. But MGK is a pretty good get, I'll have to say. I'm not into his music particularly, never
I
have been,
didn't even
even
know who
before
he
he kind of
was,
switched to this
man.
this pop style. Like when he was actually a rapper, was never really into, like, he's got a couple songs that I don't mind. And I listen to a lot of different music, kind
But
of
Darren,
across the whole gamut, but that's a big get. Uh,
yeah. Let me just can I just finish my thought on Dembski?
sure.
Like, here's the thing. You saw what this offense did tonight without Nick Dembski. They were putrid. Zach Collaros looked uncomfortable all night. They
You think
couldn't
Nick
hit
Dembski
any
would have made a
deep.
difference?
I think Nick Dembski makes a huge
Do
difference.
you think he would have made a difference tonight against the
I
number
think
one
so.
ranked defense across the board?
I do think he would have made a difference, Darren. Zach hits 128-yarder. That was his longest attempt of the night, or longest completion. They couldn't get anything downfield. They couldn't get anything downfield. And Nick Dembski's a safety blanket. Nick Dembski is great on short routes. He's great on crossing routes, intermediate routes. He's great on the corner route. Uh, I think Nick Dembski's the lead. I'm not saying he would have made the offense rack up 500 yards, but he would have helped.
He would have helped.
Whereas when
That's fair.
Brady was out, you saw what Matthew Peterson, and this is no knock on Brady, right? But Matthew
It's very
Peterson,
different, though. You got 5 receivers versus
I
one
understand, but
tailback.
I'm saying this offense probably would have got by without Brady, maybe, but not Nick Dembski. Especially with Shownote, they can't move the needle without Nick
Well,
Dembski. If
can you
Dembski
imagine
doesn't come
if they
back,
didn't get Ontario? Like, can you imagine if Ontario Wilson
oh,
had won an NFL spot? Sheesh.
which he
Okay,
should have.
Schnitzy, listen.
Yeah.
Rapid fire. Walby's Warrior. Hit the live chat, everybody. Would love to know your Walby's Warrior tonight.
Dude, that's the easiest Walby's Warrior ever. As I remove the bonfire kitty here. You're the Walby's Warrior, Mr.
Nope.
COVID.
Nope.
You're
Who's
the
your Walby's
Walby's
Warrior
Warrior
from the football game tonight?
Oh, come on. You're not gonna allow that?
No, absolutely not. No.
You know what? My Walby's Warrior is Trey Vavel. I know he
Love it.
he gave one up, but he came back, and I think he was the best player on the field for either team. He got the Bombers back into that game. So I'm going to give it to Vavel.
I like that a lot. Yeah, I'll give it to him too. My Walby's Warrior. Your Westwood wide to the right. I'm just going to throw it out there and say the offensive line play.
For me, it was Darrin. It was the offense, and I won't go on a long thing here, but the Bombers came into this game with the most interceptions in the league, worst interception rate, worst touchdown to interception ratio, and worst passing efficiency at like 88 in the CFL. What was their passing efficiency tonight? 82%, even below their substandard average. And at the critical point in the game, down 2, needing a field goal to win, late in the fourth quarter, Collaros drops back and throws into double coverage again and gets picked off. They did everything they could to lose this game. And that's just been the Achilles heel of the offense, of the team all year, and they did it again.
Yeah. Yep. I like it. Okay, how about do I got it? Where it is? Here we go. You got a happy honker tonight? 13 straight
man.
sellouts?
Yeah, and I do take some credit. I was all over Twitter this whole week. Sell it out, sell it out.
I thought you were an employee of the team for a minute there.
I went on Ticketmaster yesterday and today and physically counted those blue dots to see how many there were. I counted 249 yesterday or something.
You've lost your mind. You have too much free time.
I did. I have no free time, but I still did it because I wanted to implore Bomber fans to sell this out. It's the Riders. Playoffs are on the line.
Does Wade Miller cut you a check? I'm serious.
He should.
Probably should.
I would donate it to some dog rescue, but yes, he should. And I take some credit because it did sell out. I'm happy it sold out on a crappy weather day when the Jays were playing Game 6, right? Game 5 of the ALCS at 5 o'clock. So there was some overlap there. And Bombers fans not only sold it out, they were loud. They were actually even louder than the Banjo Bowl. They were giving her. Except when Castile lined up for the walk-off 22-yarder, they were cheering and yelling and screaming. And I was like, shut the F up. What are you doing? You don't yell when the field goal kicker's coming on to kick a walk-off, even if it's from 22 yards. So, yeah, that was unfortunate. But
Issue boy smarter. Bruce, love this. It was the
yes, very good point.
Why is the word escaping me? The battle cancer night?
Intercept cancer night.
Intercept cancer. Thank you. Issue boy Bruce, F cancer, happy honker, and the Walby's Warrior to all the real warriors out there.
Hell yeah. Well said, Issue
Love
boy.
That. Yeah.
Well said, buddy.
Do you got a before we get into our game balls, you got a bonfire burning point? Ooh, that's a tough one.
How about just like burn the team down? Like just throw them all into the bonfire, man. No, that's unfair.
Randall, we're going to get to
Listen,
this in 1 second.
I will say that I would honestly give it to the play with 2 minutes and 2 seconds left, Darren, in the fourth quarter. This is after Brady rushes for 16 yards, then for 2 tough yards off the left. And then Zach is under pressure as he was all night on a full-out blitz. And he just loves it a little bit to Brady Oliveira on a screen pass. Where those screen passes were to Brady the entire second half, I don't know. Talk about the best blitz beater you can imagine, cook up, whatever you want to say. But they wait till then. Brady Oliveira catches the screen pass, rumbles 12 yards for the first down, rumbles so that Streveler's on second and inches. They get the first down, which sets up the game-winning field goal. So I would say right then, almost at the end of the game.
I like it. My bonfire burning point, no video highlights. Maybe that should be the westward wide to the right. No video highlights on Game Day After Dark for the first time in years. Sorry, everybody. Just hurting.
Dude.
This little gal, though, who I rescued
Hey, Ruby.
a couple years ago, Ruby Red, she's been taking care of me, though, so it's good. Ticona Polly, is this another super chat from
another
you?
One?
Wow. Big thanks, Ticona Polly. Appreciate you. Schnitzy's all right. Pass this on to Brady's dog rescue DB. Will do. Definitely.
Absolutely, buddy. Yep. Thank you.
Hey, Rube.
Oh, buddy, burning point could also have been that Lawther missed field goal. 49-yard missed field goal.
Yeah,
and then
you're right.
Valvo returns it, 60-something yards? I wrote it down, but yeah, that was big. That was huge. Again, 64-yard return by Vavel. I think he's now by far broken the Blue Bombers missed field goal return yardage record. Yep.
Okay. Game balls. Let's do it.
Did Ticona Polly just give us another super chat?
Yeah, that's the second.
No, I think he just gave us a third. Ticona.
He says NF Cancer. Put this on Cancer Care, DB. I got to make all these donations in your name? That's pretty great, though, Ticona Polly. Not only are you donating to these causes, but you're also bringing the awareness to the, frankly, thousands of people watching us here on Bonfire Sports. Over 400 watching live right now.
Yeah, buddy.
Even though I am so sick, I failed to cut any video highlights. Holy Ticona. Okay. Holding down the cone.
You're doing the show is you get brownie points, buddy.
Well, I'm ready for bed. Let's hit your game balls. Bombers win 17-16. Who are you giving one to tonight?
If I had to give one on offense, it would be Brady. He had over 100 yards of offense combined, 4.7 yard average, running the football. He had another. I now think it's 18 or 21 rushes over 10 yards this year, which is crazy. I think it tops in the league, Darren. So on offense, I'll give one to Brady. Returns, I will also give another one to Vavel. Just incredible. Missed field goal, 62 yards, my bad. He had a 29-yarder on kickoff returns. He had a 53-yard punt return, Darren. Just nuts. Aside from that fumble, he was absolutely elite. And then on defense, I'm going to shout out Mr. James Vaughters, someone we don't talk about a lot. This is a team that rushes 3 all the time. You're not going to get sacks. They have the least sacks in the CFL. But very quietly, number 93, who was a big free agent acquisition at the beginning of the season, Darren, has 6 sacks, most on the team.
He's had a good year.
He's had a good year. That was a great
free agent signing.
Yeah, no, maybe the best free agent signing the Bombers made this year because a lot of them were busts. So shout out to James Vaughters.
Shout out to T-Will. Super chat, $13.99 says, please donate this to the Human Fund. Money for people.
Wow.
great reference
That's
uh,
awesome.
to Seinfeld. Money for people. That would be me and you, Schnitzy. Big thanks for that, T. Will. Appreciate it. Digging deep today,
BC
and
up. Oh my God,
yeah, pick six for Carter.
Carter on Fajardo. I
Yeah,
love it.
17-10.
Woo.
Here's a look at the stats in that game. Look, if the Elks lose,
Yeah.
Winnipeg doesn't clinch a playoff spot, but they are much more likely to clinch a playoff spot and more likely to reside in the West. There
Oh,
is a lot
I
still
thought they clinched. I
to
thought
be
they clinched if the Elks lost.
well, if the Elks win next week and the Bombers lose.
But the Elks. Wait. Hold on. I'm pulling up the standings here.
So,
So the
well,
Elks have
here's the
7 wins.
standings.
Yeah, the Bombers have 9 wins. If the Elks lose, they're out because the Bombers are 2 games ahead.
If the Elks lose,
If the Elks lose tonight, they're eliminated.
yes, right, which would then secure a playoff spot for the Bombers. Yeah.
Yeah, and then
So
yeah.
this is what the CFL put out. A BC win. Oh yeah, there you go. Winnipeg secures a playoff spot. That's right. Winnipeg did not lose, so none of these scenarios would be the case. But an Edmonton loss or a Calgary win, Calgary clinches a postseason berth. Calgary plays at home against Toronto tomorrow night, doubleheader there. And then that BC win, if they're able to pull it out, they'll host the West Semi. So what can still be determined, though, if we look at the CFL standings, is Bombers at 9-8. It depends on what Calgary does and BC, obviously, but Winnipeg could still end up third in the West. They could also end up third in the East, be that crossover team. There will be a crossover team one way or another this year. Could be Edmonton, could be Winnipeg, could be BC, even
Yeah.
if they lose out. But lots still to be determined in the CFL playoff picture. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Schnitzy, weird one tonight. The Bombers loss, or pardon me, Bombers win felt like a loss. How often does Doug Brown say the drive of the night is the drive home? And it's a win. But that's apparently what he said tonight.
He's a beauty.
Yeah.
Love
I
me some
placed you
Doug
as a
Brown.
bot. Anyway. Yeah, as I'm clearly running on fumes between the ears, final thought to you, and we'll look forward to a pregame and postgame extravaganza here on Bonfire Sports next week with the Bombers wrapping up their regular season schedule against the Montreal Alouettes.
Yes, sir. Well, I'll just cut right to my rhyme to get you to bed, Darren. Be my rhyming lullaby. COVID didn't stop DB, but a limping Zach Collaros is all I could see. Sayonara, everybody.